Hey everyone, Ellie the Quilter. I'm back with another awesome story time. So in Riverside, California, which is maybe 30 minutes or so from me, there is a mission called the Mission Inn. So they turned it into a hotel in, I don't know, late 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. And it has become like this destination thing. So it's absolutely gorgeous. The videos of it, pictures of it, gorgeous. It has, become this place where people go to get married or they go on first dates. There's restaurants all around there. And all around that area are lots of little restaurants and shops, antique shops. It's like a place where people go to hang out and shop, have a little date night kind of thing. Now, my family grew up in and around the Riverside area on the little mountain or hill right behind there, Mount Rubidoux. My grandparents built a house and they set off fireworks from there. It's a great little hike. People like to hike up to the top. There's a cross that's up there and people like to go hike there. It's like a nice little downtown kind of area. Well, so my grandparents knew someone who was working on the refurbishment of the Mission Inn. And I've just learned this story from my mom, Grandma Honey. So Grandma Honey told me that they knew someone who was working on the refurbishment of the hotel. And they found all of these, I don't know what they are. I'm still trying to figure them out. I think some of them are placemats. I think some of them are maybe table runners. They are maybe a little something that would go on a nightstand. All different kinds of things, right? Found these from what they are assuming is the 1930s or 40s. So this fabric is almost 100 years old. I'm very scared to work with it, but I'm very excited. It's very yellowed and very dirty. It's been stored in a cardboard kind of box for close to 80 years or so, almost 90 years. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to try and soak it. I'm going to try and get some of that yellow out. I'm going to try a couple different products that I have heard about, and you're going to go on this journey with me. Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at all this beautiful lace. Oh, we're going to have to fix these. We're definitely going to have to restore these. Look at these pink ones down here. Look at that. The first thing that we're going to do is start off by soaking everything in a really warm bath. Not hot, but very warm. Let's also remember that in the 30s and 40s, everybody was smoking inside. So I'm not thrilled about sticking my hand in there, but I think this is going to give it a really good soak, get a lot of that initial dirt off, and then we'll do some soaking in a cleaner. I can already see that some of the whites are getting a little bit more whiter. However, some of the lace is still a little yellow. And my favorite thing when working with vintage fabrics or antique fabrics is something called Retro Clean. You can find this most anywhere. I got this off Amazon. So this is specifically to help get some of that yellowing or water stains out. I'm really curious to see what it's going to do with all of this. We've let everything soak for a couple hours. The water's gone a little chilly, so we're going to drain everything out. I found a couple bugs. That's gross. But we're going to drain all this out, give it a rinse, and then we'll try with our laundry soap. Okay, we put our cleaner in there, and now we're going to let the tub fill again, and we're going to let this soak probably a good 48 hours. The directions did say it's helpful to let it soak in the sun to keep it warm, but I don't really have that option. It's pouring rain here in Southern California right now, so we're just going to do it in the bathtub, and I will maybe occasionally put in a pot of boiling water and mix it up and see if I can keep it warm that way. So I wanted to learn a little bit more about the Mission Inn. I've grown up right down from the Mission Inn. Riverside is where I grew up. And my grandparents had a house on the hill right behind there on Mount Rubidoux, which is a popular little hike that people do. So I went to the Mission Inn website, and you can see here, look, this is a dining room where some of those might have been displayed. What's interesting is all of the history that I'm learning about. Like, I knew it was really popular, but I didn't know like they had filmed movies there. My generation probably remembers Man in the Iron Mask, but then also all these different presidents that have been there. So Roosevelt, Taft, Hoover, Nixon, Reagan, Bush Jr. Then we've also had some amazing leaders like Booker T. Washington, Susan B. Anthony, Amelia Earhart, Albert Einstein, Helen Keller, John Muir, entertainers including Judy Garland, Bette Davis, Clark Gable, Tom Hanks, Barbra Streisand, James Brolin. Like, it's been a really popular place. I know I had cousins that got married there. I've gone on many date nights there. The Festival of Lights is what I have taken my daughters to a lot when they were younger. They just light everything up all around it. And they do fireworks coming off of it. It is a big event every year when they actually light it. The entire walls are covered. So look at that. That's beautiful. So it's a really magical experience to go walk around there. All right, so we are at just over 24 hours now. You can see some of it is still a little yellowed, which I was kind of expecting. I'm not too happy about it. You can see this one has all along the edges is a little more yellow than what's in the center. Some of these might not be able to be saved, but we're just going to do our best. I think I might let this soak a little bit more. And I keep coming in here and stirring it. I just worry that maybe I didn't saturate it with as much cleaner as I needed to, just because I'm filling the entire tub. And this is a lot. And I used that entire packet, but I could have probably used a little bit more. So I have washed everything, rinsed everything, let everything dry. There's still a little bit of yellowing. You might not be able to see it on camera, but it's still a little bit there. So we're gonna do another round of soaking. And I had a follower write to me and say, this OxiClean White Revive has been really great on getting the yellow out of wedding dresses, which is again, very delicate fabric. So we're gonna do another round. Everything is in and soaking in the OxiClean White Revive. I have worked with these fabrics for a little bit longer now. They are not quite as delicate as I first thought they were. So I'm able to handle them a little bit more, I don't want to say roughly, but I'm able to handle them a little bit more roughly than I was previously. So we're going to soak these in some very hot water, and we're going to do that probably 24 hours, and we will just see what happens. We are another 24 hours in with the OxiClean, and definitely a lot more yellow came out. I'm very hopeful for this. So this was the one piece I was kind of worried about. I think that might just be the color of the thread that they were using to embroider all this. I'm really not sure. But we're going to take this all out. We're going to stick this in the washing machine, do a rinse on delicate cycle, and let's dry them, press them, see how they come out. So I realized I probably took on way too much with doing all of that. I spent days and days and days and nights pressing everything. And because of the way that we soaked everything and dried it, sometimes it would shrink a little bit. And so I had to re-wet everything and then stretch it and even block it where you pin all around the edges. And then you have to let it dry like that. So this has taken me forever, but I'm really excited to show you some of the final results. I'm gonna let my girls go through some of this and see if there's anything that they would want to save. And then I have a few that I would want to save. And then I'm also gonna ask some of my other family members, like my aunt, my sister, and my cousin, to see if there's anything that they would want to save. And then maybe we can kind of use these cherished things that are antique and pass them down through the generations. So I mainly saw a lot of these size fabrics, and these I believe are going to be napkins. So there's some blue embroidered ones. There's some of this, which I thought was yellowing, but I think that's just actually the color of the thread. I saw this on several of them. There is these kind of pink embroidered ones, very delicate and lacy, like it's completely transparent there. And then I loved these. These were some napkins, and then there's some silver thread that runs through here that's just really, really beautiful. Now, these were some placemats that I want to keep myself personally. This is definitely more my style. This real natural fiber with this amazing work here on the side. Look at how gorgeous that is. These shrank really bad when I washed and dried them, even though I dried them on a really low heat and I tumbled them, but they still shrunk. So these I had to wet again, and then I stretched the fiber a little bit and I blocked it all around to get it back to its original size. These ones were very time consuming, but definitely worth it. I loved them. The same with these lace ones. These shriveled up into tiny little balls. And so I had to wet them again and block them and set them out to dry for several days, but they turned out absolutely beautiful. Other ones that I really loved for myself were, again, these really natural fibered kind of placemats, like a tan color, and they have this really beautiful work around the edges there. So this is definitely my style. Some of the more lacy, frilly kind is not necessarily my style, but probably one of my family members would love it, and so we'll pass that on to them. There's also lots of this kind of fabric that had all of this gorgeous lace all around it. Turned out absolutely beautiful. This is one of my favorite placemats, and it had this tiny, tiny little detailed embroidery going all the way around the side. And there were several of these, and I almost pictured these on a nightstand in one of the rooms, for instance, or maybe as a placemat for a high tea or something like that. This beautiful embroidery going around, completely see-through, as you can see. They were so delicate and beautiful. So overall, a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun, and definitely worth it to restore some of these amazing antique fabrics.